WSTKS-FM Worldwide. Digital collaborative learning for the 21st century. Welcome back from spring break, everyone. It's Professor Schwartz yet again, coming to you from my usual corner booth here in the Collaborative Cafe on the ground floor of the WSTKS-FM Worldwide studios. Onyx the cat is gazing at me from across the table, of course, and I've just enjoyed the first few sips from a mug of fresh dark roast coffee. Well, we are already in week 8 of the course, believe it or not. And in view of that particular milestone, let's shake out those mental cobwebs post-spring break as we look toward the end of the course in just a few weeks' time. But how do we do that? Well, I'm glad you asked. To ensure easier teamwork as you move forward through the latter half of the course, it makes good sense to revisit and reestablish 4 essential team values post-spring break before your team moves ahead with its remaining work in the course. The first essential team value to revisit is commitment. Hopefully, that's already a part of your team's list of core values that you developed back in week 3 at the start of your work together. In any case, teamwork becomes easier when you make up your mind to commit or recommit to your student learning team. Everyone is on board, in the communication loop, and seated at the metaphoric collaborative table. On a related note, it's a good idea at this point for your team to sit down together in real time to review its list of core team values and team contract. And since you now have several weeks of teamwork under your belts, it might also be wise to add commitment with a capital C to those documents if it is not already a part of them. The second essential team value to review and discuss has to do with control. Control events and your learning team situation before they control you, in other words. Take forward steps together without delay and prepare for team meetings ahead of time. Make sure to read or view assigned course materials for a given week ahead of time to avoid wasting valuable time when your team convenes for its weekly analysis and discussion of course materials. Ask questions ahead of time if or when you are unsure about something related to course expectations. Get in front of upcoming assignment due dates and looming project deadlines by reaching out to your teammates or me, your instructor. However your team does it, make the conscious decision to climb onto that horse right away. And if taking proactive control of the situation is not already part of your list of core team values and team contract, it might be a good idea to add that point to these 2 documents after the necessary collaborative discussion and decision-making. The third essential team value to reestablish within your student learning team post-spring break has to do with team communication. How are communication practices within your team really? Keep in mind that members need to communicate clearly and routinely to avoid the hiccups that come from people remaining checked out until it's too late in the game to turn things around easily. Your team can easily avoid that potential stumbling block by recommitting to the habit of effective communication practices. And remember, there is no real substitute for face-to-face interaction in real time. Relying on text and email threads alone without ever meeting and consulting with teammates directly is not an easy recipe for success. And finally, we come to the fourth essential team value for your members to look at again as we reconvene following spring break: consistency. To produce your best teamwork during the latter half of the course, roughly the next 8 weeks, the members of your team need to adopt consistent team work habits and practices. Like commitment, control, and communication, consistency, too, is at the heart of solid learning teams, or it should be. To reconnect to and foster that consistency within your team, members should revisit your list of core values and team contract, as suggested already, and look again at how your team will establish, practice, and, if needed, revise its weekly habits. High-functioning student learning teams follow an established routine from week to week without deviation, which means that members know what to expect and when, how to work together, and how to achieve their collaborative goals. Consistent habits will enable your student learning team to function more cohesively and create more precise work that better meets assignment and project expectations. WSTKS-FM Worldwide. Digital collaborative learning for the 21st century. If you find this podcast helpful, be sure to hit like, share, and subscribe. Let's quickly review now the 4 essential values that your student learning team should revisit and reestablish to revitalize your collaboration post-spring break. 1. Commitment. Commit or recommit to the members of your learning team. 2. Control. Exercise firmer control over learning team outcomes by getting a jump on things well ahead of remaining due dates in the latter half of the course. 3. Communication. Communicate with each other clearly and routinely to avoid the potential for team hiccups. Face-to-face in real time is the best way to do that, minimizing the chance for misunderstanding and communication between teammates. And 4. Consistency. Being more consistent at both the individual and team levels enables you to produce your best work during the latter half of the course. Commitment, control, communication, and consistency. Revisit and reestablish these 4 essential team values now before moving forward with your teamwork for the week to facilitate more effective collaborative practices during the run-up to the end of the course. Empower your student learning team by joining me in the Collaborative Cafe next week for additional tips, tricks, and advice based on my almost 30 years of collaboration with thousands of undergraduates at 3 Big Ten universities, 2 liberal arts schools, and 2 community colleges across the upper Midwest of the United States. In the meantime, thank you for joining me today. I'll see you in class, online, or during Zoom office hours if you drop by with a question. Stay healthy, have a safe and a productive week. With special regards from Onyx, the cat what am. So long, and I'll talk to you again soon. Bye for now. You've just heard a podcast from WSTKS-FM Worldwide. Digital collaborative learning for the 21st century.